Hey, this is Kevin Kelly. Get ready for the latest episode of the Stardom Cast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Stardom Cast. This is a podcast we talk all things about the fantastic professional wrestling promotion known as Stardom, and we do it in a positive and what I think fun manner. I am your host for this episode. My name is Matt Turner, and I'll be flying solo for this episode as our godfather of the podcast, the founder, the OG, Mr. Rob Goodwin, is off this week. He's on a little bit of a mini vacation. Rob, if you're listening to this, I hope that you enjoy yourself and obviously safe travels, and we will talk to you next week. Folks, as I record this, we are just mere hours away, about 16, 17 hours away from Stardom Dream Queendom. Obviously, this podcast will drop on Friday, the day after. We will have our full review. We'll be recording on Monday with the lovely, the one and only Miss Karen Peterson. So this week, as you can see in the description box, we're just going to review the Christmas Eve show from Korakuen Hall and do a little bit of a preview for the Triangle Derby. And that's really just about it. This is probably going to be a short episode considering the fact that we've been releasing a lot of content lately. So let me tell you what's been going on Patreon. This past Monday, we did release the final match from the trilogy of Mayu Iwatani and Io Shirai. That's for the watch along. We just released just earlier today, as I record this Wednesday, the Thunder Rock review for the white and red belt tier Patreon members. That is by far the most requested review that I've gotten since we've been doing these, since pretty much we've been doing the Patreon. So for the last 8-9 months, it's the most requested review. Finally, was able to get to it, and I thought it came off really, really well. And we've already been getting some positive responses, so thank you so much for that. Also, too, we have noted that starting in about 2 weeks, Rob will be joining me pretty much on every episode of our Monday watch-along. And that is going to start with, I believe, Io Shirai challenging Meiko Satomura from the year-end Climax 2015. I believe that's what we're going to be doing in 2 weeks. Again, with Rob being away, he won't be available to do this Monday's watch along. Well, this Monday's watch along is going to be from the Tokyo Dome. From as you listened to this earlier, just about a year ago, as the MK sisters reunite Mayu Iwatani and Starlight Kid to take on the team of Saya Kamatani and Tam Nakano. And speaking of Rob joining me for the watch along, we just released free on the Patreon a watch along with Rob and myself, where we did Shuri challenging Mayu Iwatani for the World of Stardom Championship from the Yokohama Arena back in October 2020. And I thought it went really well. We weren't sure how we were going to do it. We decided that Rob would just do the play-by-play and that I would do the color commentator. Basically, he would draw the lines and I would kind of paint in the pictures. And we never done commentary before. We weren't obviously, we're worlds away. I'm in, middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. He's all the way over there in England. So we didn't have any cues to kind of go by. And I thought, well, it went really, really well. And we've already got some really good positive feedback on that as well. And as far as what we're doing for the bi-weekly review for red belt and white belt tier Patreon members, there still is time to vote. By the time this podcast drops on Friday morning, we might be getting down to the nitty gritty, but it's basically looks like it's going to be, if you get a chance to take a look on my Twitter, Matt Turner OF, Starlight Kid High Speed Championship review, which looks like it's winning by a landslide. So that's pretty much a lock. And then there's 2 shows that are on there. One where it is the Io Shirai's final farewell match from Stardom, where she teams with Mayu Iwatani to take on the Oedo Tai team of Kagetsu and Hazuki. And then another show review where the main event is Io Shirai defending the World of Stardom Championship against Kairi Hojo back then. And then obviously the Hanan Future Stardom review, which looks like that's starting to pull away as well. So there's still time to get your votes in. But if I'm a betting man, just kind of the way that I see this, it looks like that our next 2 reviews, again, it's not set in stone, are going to be Starlight Kid Starlight Kid High Speed Championship review and Hana Future of Stardom Championship review. So really looking forward to that. But then again, still a few days left to vote, folks. So get your votes in. So it's just been a really, really busy season for us here at the Stardom Cast, and we can't say thank you enough to everybody for all the fantastic support between the tweets and the retweets and just the voting on the Patreon and all the new Patreon members. We really say thank you. So I guess let's just get into it. We'll just kind of just go back to back here, and we'll probably, again, it's kind of be a quick show. We'll get into the the nitty gritty of this podcast. We will go to Korakuen Hall Christmas Eve, and this was a really nice Christmas themed show. It was kind of, as far as wrestling quality goes, it was on the lower tier of Stardom wrestling quality shows, but as far as fun goes, it was on probably one of the most fun wrestling shows I've seen all year. So we will go to the opening match, three-way match with Hana versus Momokogo versus Rina. And so you have an interesting dichotomy here, because you have Hana and Momokogo who are on the Stars unit, Rina, who is basically left on an island to her own because she's with Oedo Tai, but at the same time, Rina and Hana are sisters. So you're kind of want to see how that was going to play out. Stars basically quick double team on Rina to start. Momokogo arm drags are getting really, really good. Not that they weren't good before, but it seems like she's placing them in the right spots, and just how quickly she does on the snap on her arm drags. Really, Rina, I mentioned it before the last 2 weeks on the podcast, really coming into her own. And I believe as we record this, I think Rina's birthday is today. I thought I saw something that her birthday is today or this week, and only 16 years old. Unbelievable. Obviously, Hanan is going to be a huge star in Stardom, but I think Rina isn't too far behind her, and neither is Hina as well. But I thought Rina, everything she did here looked really good. Momokogo hits Hana with the springboard dropkick, and then Rina breaks it up with the double knees on Hanan for the 2 count. Hana escapes the Pink Devil, and then she goes for the 17 roll-up. They basically kind of just trade near falls back and forth, but eventually Hana catches her in the jackknife. 6 minutes, 20 seconds. Really solid opener here for the Christmas Eve show, Korakuen Hall, 3.25 stars. And now we go to the match, which might be the most fun match I've seen in wrestling all year. By no means was this Savage Steamboat or was this Suzuki Tanahashi, but this match was uploaded literally within about an hour or two of when it happened on Stardom World. It's the Christmas Eve special match, as we have the Stars team of Mayu Iwatani, Hazuki, Koguma, Saida taking on the Queen's Quest team of Utami Aishista, Hina, Lady C, and Miyu Amasaki. First off, I thought, reading the rules of this match, and we previewed it last week, that everybody had to become dressed up as Santa Claus, but there was as many Santa Clauses as there was Rudolph. So there should have been a disqualification right there. Be that as it may, Hazuki's dressed as Rudolph. That was tremendous. And then you see the Queen's Quest. We hear the Queen's Quest theme being played as only Hina, Lady C, and Miyu come out. But where's our leader, Utami? Utami comes out. She gets her own separate entrance with her own main theme. And she comes out on a plastic horse that's all dressed up in Christmas colors. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And I was a little worried because as they were trying to get off this plastic horse halfway up the Korakuen Hall aisle, because she was up so high, they had to put a stool down for her to get off, and she almost slipped off the stool. Could you imagine just 5 days before one of the biggest matches of her career against Kairi? And I know, folks, she's had a lot of big matches in her career, but this is one of the biggest ones. Can you imagine she blows her knee out by getting off a plastic horse? That would have been something. Thank God she didn't. This was really just kind of a fun match. Everybody had their own little spots, but you can kind of tell some of the wrestlers here really had difficulty moving in some of their gear. Like Saida went for the Road Warrior style second rope shoulder tackle off the top rope. She kind of came down really awkward because she kind of got caught in her Santa outfit. And when she bumped it really low, she missed it. Obviously was the planned spot, but instead of taking a flat bump, she kind of almost basketball bumped, did 2 bumps in a row. And I was like, oh, that was pretty tough. I thought, again, everybody just had little spots here or there. It wasn't anything too crazy. I thought they did a great job heating up Lady C here. She looked really good, especially got a lot on Mayu. Obviously, Mayu's the icon of Stardom. Really, and not only that, but she even FWC came in a double teamer, and she basically was able to wear them out with some chops. So here's the former tag champs. That's just Lady C, who's just kind of taking them to task here. She hits a giant swing to Saida, double Baba clothesline. She hits a giant choke slam onto Mayu for 2. Eventually, though, they do the 3-dom dropkick with Hazuki and Koguma launching Mayu into Lady C. And then Mayu somehow, she's so talented. As clumsy as she is, she's so talented. She's in the Santa outfit. And I don't know how she did it. Not only did she hit the perfect 3-dom rocket launcher dropkick, but she hits a picture-perfect moonsault on the Lady C. And I say it all the time. You want to heat up the person that's going to take the fall in the match. You want to heat them up. So this way it makes you look better. And that's what they did. To me, like Lady C was the MVP of the match. They heat her up towards the end of the match. But ultimately, the Freedom rocket launcher dropkick and the moonsault from Mayu gets the win. 7 minutes, 37 seconds, 3.5 stars. And then we see who the secret Santa Claus is. We thought, me and Rob were so dead set that the Santa Claus would turn on Mayu. Obviously, once we see it's Horacio Gao, we're like, no way that's going to happen. Because this guy's been cashing checks, especially these last few years. Big checks because of Mayu. And it looks like Mayu won some sort of gift card or some sort of perfume from Prada. So, which is kind of funny because the night before the show, me and my wife were watching The Devil Wears Prada. Not my cup of tea of a movie, but considering the fact that I make my poor wife Amber watch a lot of wrestling, so I just kept my mouth shut. So I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. I just watched this movie about Prada. So ultimately, I thought that was really cool. And then you see everybody throw, and then you see Santa Ogawa giving everybody presents to throw to the crowd. And then Saida does her best Mayu impersonation when she goes to fastball a shirt or something in the crowd and slips and falls. So Saida, who didn't do much in this match, basically almost took herself out twice, once from the missed shoulder tackle and then once from trying to throw something into the crowd. I thought that was pretty funny. And then you see basically all the members of Star just running in the crowd, giving fans gifts for Christmas. I thought that was very nice. Nice little touch. We move on to match number 3. We have the 2020 Tag League winner, 7-Up, taking on the tag champions, Natsupoi and Tam Nakano, Meltier, and Waka as well. I thought the entrance to this was really cool, how the smoke came up as they were doing the Cosmic Angels theme, not the Meltier theme or the Tam theme. And they came out, they did their dance on the side, and then Waka did their Ultimate Warrior style of run to the ring. I thought that was pretty cool. Waka very adamant that she wants to start, and Nanai just crushes her. But the crowd is just so behind Waka. Waka was, in my opinion, I don't think anybody can deny it, the most over person in this match. You have the legend, in Nanai Takahashi. Yu is very, very good. Obviously, Tam and Natsupoi are insanely over. But here in Korakuen Hall on Christmas Eve, these 5 wrestlers, Waka to me was the most over. The crowd was really, really behind Waka. Eventually, Meltier come in for the double team save. Yu tries to powerbomb Waka. Natsupoi comes in for the save. And then Natsupoi tries the German suplex Yu, but she can't do it. And I'm saying it right now, the finish of the match, of the tag title match, is going to be Natsupoi hitting Yu with the German suplex, whether she gets the 3 count or she hits the Ferial gift from the top rope afterwards. But I think Natsupoi hitting the German suplex on Yu is going to spell doom for 7-Up. We shall see. Again, as you listen to this, it'll be dropping Friday morning, about 24 hours after Dream Queendom airs. So we'll see if I'm right. Nanai has a solid insecurity on Waka. Tam and Nanai slap the crap out of each other on the top rope. Nanai and Tam have really good strike exchange back and forth. That is definitely a singles match I want to see sometime in the future, and I think we'll probably get bits and pieces of it coming up this Thursday. Well, as you listen to this the day before. Meltier hits the super kick combo. It leads to the Waka Marufuji style slide for a near fall. Nanai hits Waka with a backdrop driver for 2, and then quickly follows up with a sliding D for 3. Again, the crowd is really behind Waka. 3.5 stars. This got done 7 minutes, 10 seconds. And afterwards, we get a really passionate promo. Stardom really isn't known for their passionate promos, but we got a lot of really good promos in this show. Nai puts over Waka in the post-match promo, saying she has more passion than Tam and Natsupoi. We're shooting here, folks. Tam then tells Waka she has 3 months to get a win, or she's out of Cosmic Angel. So that basically tells me that in January, February, Waka's not getting a win. They can keep teasing it, but I think it's going to come down to right towards the end of March, and we shall see what happens. Does Waka finally get the win and then stay at Cosmic Angels, or just she leave Cosmic Angels and maybe goes with the Neo Stardom Army? That's a possibility, as right now there's only really just the 2 members, Nanai and Yu. We really haven't seen much from Alpha Female Jazzy Gabbert after her match with Kairi. I'd like to see her back there. But I think Waka might be a good fit. They change up her look again a little bit, change up maybe her style a little bit, maybe where she's more aggressive, kind of like they did with Mai Sakurai. And she's really coming into her own these last 3 or 4 months with DDM. So we shall see. We go to match number 5 as we have the 5-on-5 match between Oedo Tai and Prominence. We have a big brawl to start off with the match. Obviously, Prominence is known for their deathmatch style. Oedo Tai, ever since they've come into their own, really as a faction, they're very big into the ECW style brawls, especially over Korakuen Hall. I was a big fan, and I mentioned this on the podcast last week. I hope we get some sort of pairing with Momo and Suzu Suzuki, and we really do right from the get-go. That is that's the heart of really that match. Eventually, Suzu gets the better of Momo, and then Saki comes in, and we see Saki Kashima, who's, if you remember, she's afraid to go up against the really stiff strikers like Shiri. Like, she's definitely afraid of Shiri, and Suzu Suzuki's not too far along the violence wave as Shiri. But Saki really brings the forearms, the palm strikes, the slaps, the kicks to Suzu Suzuki, as Suzu really brings the fight out of Saki. The two of them trade blows. Eventually, we go back to Momo and Suzu Suzuki. They have a stiff exchange, and then we get a quick blitz, basically, of all 5 of the wrestlers kind of all getting one move in towards the end. But eventually, Fukin Death gets the Okada roll. We should have seen it coming. We thought it'd be like Momo with the win or Suzu Suzuki with the win. We should have known. As Rob always says in this podcast, when it comes to Stardom matches, death taxes and a Fukin Death roll-up and a multi-person match always gets it done. 3.25 stars, 7 minutes, 50 seconds. I wish this thing went like double the time. 14, 15, 16 minutes with these 10. I thought it would have been fantastic. Just a little bit too quick for my liking, but they did pack a lot on there, and it did make me really intrigued for what's going to happen here at Dream Queendom with the Artists of Stardom Championship, with Momo, Saki, and Starlight Kid taking on the Prominence team of with Risa Sera and Suzu Suzuki. So that's going to be, the hardcore match. So they did give us just a little bit of an appetizer, just a little bit. I wish they gave us a little bit more. We move on to the co-main event, as we have the team of Sai Kamatani, who's the Wonder of Stardom champion, Azumi, the high-speed champion, taking on Haruka Yamasaki and Starlight Kid. This is exactly what this match needed to be. This needed to be a really good preview of Yamasaki and Sai Kamatani, and basically that's what they got in the beginning. We had some solid wrestling exchanges between the two for about a minute, and then we get tagged in Azumi and Starlight Kid, which really was the heart and soul of this match, as these two pick up where they left off, basically back in Nagoya when they had that arguably, and I'm not going to say arguably, in my opinion, the greatest high-speed championship match of all time, where Azumi became the high-speed champion, as their chemistry between Starlight Kid and Azumi just off the page here. We get a really good form exchange with Saya Kamatani and Yamasaki, which I thought was really good. Azumi comes back in and targets Starlight Kid's arm. Starlight Kid counters the arm submission and goes into the leg tiger crusher submission, which I thought was just so smooth. The two of them are just so smooth, the way they get in and out of not only the near falls, but their submission attempts as well. We get a near tap out from an armbar from Azumi onto Starlight Kid. We get some flash pin attempts between Azumi and Starlight Kid, again, basically going into their bread and butter, their high-speed action. I thought was really, really good. Starlight Kid hits a moonsault for 2 count, and then Azumi comes back with the Azumi Sushi for 2. We get some cool teamwork from Queen's Quest, and then we get a really cool closing last 2.5 minutes from Haruka Yamasaki and Saya Kamatani, which is what this match needed to be. They needed to bookend the beginning and the end. And basically that's what it was. It was the beginning of, your preview of the Wonder of Stardom Championship match with Yamasaki and Kamatani. And then the end, you get a really, really cool finish between the two. And then in between, you just have Azumi and Starlight Kid, and then some double teams from the Queen's Quest tandem. So I thought that was really, really solid. A good way to send this match home. We get of course, the time limit draw. 3.5 stars. I thought this match was excellent. And again, I didn't know much about Haruka Yamasaki going into this match at Dream Queendom, but I did spend the last day or two watching some of her matches from Diana and Catch the Wave, and just, a lot of people have been sending me links, and I thank everybody so much, and I'm really, really jazzed for the co-main event, and of course, it's Sai Kamatani, in my opinion, the wrestler of the year. We move on to the main event of this evening, 5-on-5 elimination match. Eliminations can be by pinfall, submission, or over the top rope. We have the God's Eye team taking on DDM. God's Eye of the World of Stardom champion Shuri, Tomoka Inaba, Mirai, Ami Sourei, and Naname, taking on the DDM team of Julia, Tekla, Micah, Himika, and Mei Sakurai. It looks like right from the start we're going to get Shuri versus Julia to start. Micah says, no, I want to start. Tomoka Inaba says to Shuri, no, I want to start. We get a mini Micah vs. Inaba match, which is really, really solid. And I'm like, wow, that's the match that I had no idea I wanted to see, but I definitely need to see it. I thought it was great. We get some great action with Tekla and Shuri as well. Those two just gelled really, really well together. And Tekla, since coming back from injury, really showing that she has something to prove. She looked really, really good here. Eventually, the first elimination happens with Shiri hitting Tekla with the Ruin. Nanami comes in, and her and Julia have a really solid exchange. Again, Julia just always seems like she takes the lower card wrestlers, the younger wrestlers, and brings them up. She makes sure that they get a lot in. We've seen it with Hana. We've seen it with Miyu Hamasaki. She does it all the time, and considering the fact that she's pretty much going to be the face of Stardom, in my opinion, in 2023 and going forward, and rightfully so. She's probably the biggest female wrestling star on the planet, as long as they get some of the machine behind her. She does a great job getting everybody over, and she makes Nanami, who I believe is only 15 or 16, obviously the youngest member in this match and the newest member, God's Eye. She made her look really, really good here, but eventually Julia puts her away with the backdrop driver. Mirai comes in and basically lariats everybody. Eventually comes down to a nice little segment with Mirai and Mai Sakurai and Mirai. Mai Sakurai hits a throat cutter stunner onto Mirai, and as Mirai's on the apron and Mirai, both feet hit the floor. So Mirai is eliminated via over the top rope. And then we basically get a preview of the future Stardom Championship match with Ami Sourei and Mai Sakurai. We get some really good back and forth action, but eventually Mai Sakurai eats the double Karate Brave sandwich kicks that leads to Ami Sourei taking advantage and pinning Mai Sakurai with the Brain Buster. We go back to Maika versus Tomoka Inaba. This is really good action there. Shoulder tackles, kicks, lariats. These two just gel really, really well together. And again, an 8, 10, 11, 12, 13-minute match between these two. Somewhere down the line, I think that's what they're giving us. They basically teased it twice here. So I think somewhere down the line, we're going to get that. Maika and Tomoka Inaba are on the outside brawling, kicking each other. Maika hits a clothesline so hard that she winds up eliminating herself. But then when Inaba takes the bump, she rolls out to the outside as well. I thought that was really clever. Maika throws these really stiff forearms, and she threw everything, or not forearms, clotheslines. She threw everything so hard into that clothesline that she eliminated herself, and then eventually Inaba gets eliminated as well. I thought that was really good. We finally get the Shiri Julia exchange. That was obviously, we're only going to get a little bit here, as it seems like the last 3 or 4 shows. Anytime we had God's Eye and DDM, we would get just a little bit. Obviously, we got a lot of it at the World Climax match, which was one of my favorite matches of the year. I think that this match coming up at Dream Queendom is going to be even better because Julia's at the top of her game. Shiri's having just some fantastic title defenses here towards the last quarter of the year. So again, they gave us just a little bit, and our main man, our godfather, the OG Rob Goodwin said it right. He said, I think it's going to, Shiri and Julia are going to eliminate each other, and it's going to give Himeka a chance to win this for DDM. And he was right. So we come down to Ami Sourei and Himeka. They have some really good exchanges back and forth. And Ami Sourei, almost right from the start of the little mini match here, gets Himeka up in the torture rack and holds her there for quite a little bit. I thought that was really cool. Some impressive exchanges back and forth. Crowd really coming up here towards the end. Eventually, Himeka hits a lariat to the back of Ami Sorei's neck and then hits the concussion bomb for the win. 21 minutes, 48 seconds. This was my favorite match of the show. 3 3/4 stars. As Himeka is your sole survivor. Once again, predicted by Mr. Rob Goodwin. So congratulations, Rob. You actually got something right. But hey, you know what they say. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. All right, folks. We will go to our... As Rob actually just texted me because I asked him for his prediction. So let's go into the Triangle Derby preview. And actually, as of this morning, there was a few matches that were announced for the show coming up on the 3rd. So we will go through. Now, this, from what I understand, they're doing this tournament very much similar to the 2020 Tag League tournament, where everyone in the red block will wrestle over each other in the blue block and vice versa. So the red block will not be wrestling anybody in the red block. So it's basically whoever has... and the people in the blue block will not be wrestling the teams in the blue block. So whoever has the most amount of points will go in and go back and wrestle each other. Very similar, again, to Momo Watanabe and Azumi beating the team of Sai Kamatani and Utami Hayashishita back in the 2020 Tag League. So let's go through. We have the red block, H&M, Mayu Utani, Momo Kogo, and Hanan. And then there is Queen's Quest, Utami Hayashishita, Azumi, Sai Kamatani. The Cosmic Angels team of Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, Meltier, and Saki. The Bari Bombers, Julia Tekla, Mai Sakurai. I'm so excited for that team because Julia just works so well with Tekla. And then when Tekla was her team with Mai Sakurai, it's Oh My Julia, I thought were fantastic. Then Tekla comes back to reform Mafia Bella, and they almost stole the show in the Tag League. Unique Glare. That's a unique name for a team. Starlight Kid Ruaka and Haruka Yamasaki. Haruka Yamasaki and Starlight Kid, when they team up, they seem to gel really well together. And then you're throwing in the ever-improving Ruaka. That should be a fun team. The Neo Stardom Army, Nanai Takahashi, Yu, and Yuna Mizumoro. I think their matches with basically the classmates and the God's Eye team and the Blue Triangle block are going to be really, really fun. And then Team X, 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 and Triple X. Not unless that's Vin Diesel from the Triple X movies. Hi-ho. Don't know who that's going to be. I'm assuming we will, by the time this drops, we'll probably find out at Dream Queendom. I thoroughly see Mina and Unagi winning their opening match against Tekla and Mei Sakurai, and then Mina and Unagi saying that they're going to be Team X, and then they will bring out whoever the third member will be. Blue Triangle. We have the God's Eye team of Shuri, Mirai, and Ami Sori. Classmates, Hazuki, Koguma, FWC, and Saida. My Himi with C. I'm really looking forward to this team because I'm just a huge fan of Mike and Himika. I think they are the best tag team in Stardom. I know it's probably shocking everybody as much as I love Hazuki and Koguma, and obviously my heart is always in the right place for Melt here, but just because they've been teaming so much longer than everybody else, I'm just a huge fan of Mike and Himika, and again, I think they're the best overall tag team in Stardom. The team with Lady C, I think Lady C is just ever improving. I'm such a huge fan of her and just everything she's been doing, not only in the ring, but like curtain to curtain. She just comes out with the charisma and the jacket and then her new gear. Lady C really seems like if they kind of give her a little bit of a push and some big wins, I think by the end of 2023, I think she can make her way towards the top tier of the card in Stardom. But we shall see, and I think she's gonna have a breakout tournament. I really do. Lollipop, Waka Tsukiyama, Rina, and Yuka Sakurai. Obviously, we're going to be seeing more Waka eating falls here, especially the fact that she's going to be going up against Tam, Natsupoi, and Saki. So I think that match is going to be something to look out for. But I can see that Waka getting a few near falls onto Tam. I think that's a really cool story that they could play. The Prominence team of Suzu Suzuki, Risa Sera, and Kuruma Haraga. Again, their stuff with Queen's Quest and H&M, I think is going to be great. The Uedo Tai team, Momo Watanabe, Natsuko Tora, and Saki Kashima. So you have the hard hitters with Momo and Tora, but the person to watch out for in this match, obviously Saki Kashima, as she has the most brutal finish in all of Stardom, the Kishi Kasai. And then we ended up with the team that I know the least about, Rebel and Enemy, Ramka Chow, Maika Ozakawa, and Mayu Yuyuki. I think I said that right. So, yeah, there's that one team that I know very little about, but I'm excited to see what they do. And like I said, they did just announce some matches that'll take place on the opening on the 1-3 show, which will probably be another pay-per-view. And obviously the match that sets out to me the most, which will probably be the main event, the match that both me and Rob have as our final, the Queen's Quest team of Saya Kamatani, Azumi, Utami Aishista, taking on the team of Shuri, Mirai, and Ami Sori. I think for this opener, I think the God's Eye team is going to win, especially the fact that all roads are pointing to Shuri eating the pinfall here on the 29th, and she'll lose the belt. I think she'll rebound by getting the pinfall over any one of these members of Queen's Quest, whether it's Azumi, who's, other than this past year, is always her foil in the 5-star Grand Prix, whether it's the leader of Queen's Quest, Utami Aishista, who's her like sworn enemy, or it's the Wonder of Stardom champion, Saya Kamatani. Regardless, you have so many different interesting matchups here. Obviously, Shuri Utami. You have the New Eras versus just a tag team that completely stole the tournament. And to me, Aphrodite, Sai Kamatani, and Utami. I love to see what the Zumi and Mirai are going to do. And then, in my opinion, the two best wrestlers of the year, not only in Stardom, but just in all of wrestling. Sorry, Will Ospreay fans, as right now he's number 3 for me. But we will see a matchup here, potential matchup between Shuri and Saya Kamatani. So a lot of interesting things going into that. But yes, so actually Rob just texted me, and he just wanted to make everyone aware that for him, his finals, he has got the God's Eye team of Mirai, Shuri, and Ami Sori defeating the Queen's Quest team of Azumi, Saya Kamatani, and Utami Hayashista in the finals, where I agree that would be the finals, but I have the Queen's Quest team taking the win there. So that'd be very interesting to see if that is the finals. Another matchup that is announced as Micah, Himika, and Lady C take on the Cosmic Angels team of Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, and Saki. Again, that would be another really, really interesting matchup, as I believe somewhere in due time, maybe at World Climax, Mike and Himika are going to be the ones to upend the team of Tam and Natsupoi. for the tag team championships. So you probably get a mini match there. Again, Lady C ever improving. And like Saki's like Stardom's best kept secret. I know she's mostly doing stuff over colors, but I thought she had a really, really solid outing, not only in the tag league with Waka and then in Mina before Mina got injured, but I thought she had a really, really good showing in the 5-star Grand Prix as well. So that match should be pretty interesting. Then we move over to the Queen's Quest, the Stars team of Mayu Iwatani, Hana, and Momo Kogo taking on the Oedo Tai team of Saki Kashima, Natsuko Tora, and Momo Watanabe. Obviously, a lot of really cool, interesting facts there, as we have a lot of people that can get rolled up here. Obviously, you have Saki Kashima with the Kishikasai. Momo Kogo has a Lamai Strat Cradle. Hana has the 17 roll-up. But to me, the most interesting thing in this match will be another showing between Mayu and Momo Watanabe. I will never, ever get sick of that matchup. So I think that will be very, very interesting. And it's nice to see how Hana's going to really work with not Tora, because I don't think we've seen that since Tora has been back. So that'll be interesting as well. And then how about the Prominence team taking on the Oedo Tai team of Ruaka, Yumasaki, and Starlight Kid. This match, this will be all sorts of fun because we got a lot of bruisers in the Prominence team. And if you remember from the Stardom and Showcase, I think it was 3 where they had Starlight Kid and Suzu Suzuki. It was a 5-star Grand Prix match. Those two absolutely stole the show. And I like to see what Risa Sera and Yumasaki is going to do. I think that is going to be something really, really interesting as well. So I think that'll be a whole lot of fun. And those are just the matches that were announced. And that's it, folks. Like I said, this was going to be a quicker episode. Just kind of me doing the singles thing here while Rob is away. Again, buddy, enjoy your vacation. And we will be back on Monday. We are going to be recording our Dream Queendom review with the one and only Miss Karen Peterson. Karen's been doing a lot of great work. She did interview Sherry, who for Pro Wrestling Illustrated, for Sherry becoming the #1 women's wrestler in the world, voted on by the editors of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. And she was able to interview Sherry there, so maybe we'll talk to her about that. We'll go over everything on Dream Queendom. So that's going to wrap it up, folks. I guess before we get out of here, real quick note from our sponsor, Puro-TV.com. Got to plug them in the beginning. Head on over there. Again, Puro-TV.com. Take a look. Like I always say, doesn't cost anything to look. See if there's anything that you want to get yourself for a late Christmas present, or hey, Valentine's Day's coming up, or if you have a birthday or or your anniversary. Take a look, and when you're checking out, don't forget to enter the key code VISTA10, VISTA. Save yourself 10% off your order. And I would check that website back like every 2 or 3 days, because they are updating it. Seems like 2 or 3 times a week. There's a lot of really great stuff there. They have I'm obviously a huge fan of Hazuki. There's a giant Hazuki, like 7 or 8 disc set that's up there. Julia 2-disc set, an Ice Ribbon. Julia 2-disc set from her first year and a half. In Stardom. Some really, really good stuff there. Again, it does not cost anything to look. Puro-TV.com. Like I said, folks, that is going to end it for this episode. Thank you so much. Again, I know we're dropping a lot of content these past few weeks. I hope everybody's enjoying a Merry Mayu Christmas. Quick editor's note, it actually just dawned on me, just because with Rob being away and then us doing Dream Queendom and just the holidays and just how busy we are with the Merry Mayu Christmas, the Mayu Iwatani career retrospective probably will not drop until sometime in January, just because our schedules are just so busy. Obviously, I don't want to do that by myself. Rob is the biggest Mayu fan in the world, so I want to make sure that is as good as it can be. So I apologize for that, but at the same time, look at all the fantastic Mayu watch-alongs and all the fantastic Mayu review stuff that you got in December. So I guess maybe that'll be a little bonus episode for everybody in January. So I apologize for that, but I thank everybody just for the fantastic support that we've seen, not only just on the Patreon, but just the podcast in general, because it seems like every week we're getting more and more downloads, we're getting more and more views on social media, and we can't do that without you. So I thank everybody so much. And like I said, my friends, that will do it for this episode. If you need to get a hold of me, any questions, comments, concerns, I will be watching Dream Queendom live. I guess that doesn't matter because this is going to be airing Friday. Never mind. But yes, I'll be tweeting out some stuff on Dream Queendom. So I always big fan of talking to everybody as these shows happen, just to kind of get everybody's instant feedback. Any questions, comments, anything that I can do, please let me know. Let me know how you're liking the new edition of the watch-alongs. With Rob me and Rob basically not even just watch-alongs. It's basically alternate commentary. Majority of these Stardom matches do not have English commentary, so that's what me and Rob are doing. We're going back into the vault and we're providing some English commentary. So let me know what you like about the new format. And let me know if there's anything that you would think that we can do to improve. That's what we're all here, like I always say, because we're all trying to get better each and every day. Because like I always say, folks, just not my podcast. It's our podcast, because we're all in this together, and everybody's different. Everybody's special. Thanks, everybody, so much. Have yourself a great new year, and I hope you enjoyed Stardom Dream Queendom.